Manchester United reps have been spotted at the airport en route mission get Manuel Ugarte. Blanc flew out for lunch with the PSG reps. Will Cook's now spotted on a flight to Paris, Operation Get Ugarte, and which is apparently a little bit linked to the McTominay situation. McTominay and Man United are set to have a meeting tomorrow to resolve, his payout, and then he'll fly to Napoli for a medical. Manuel Ugarte can be done. He can come in as the reported news. United were offered Osimhen, but at what price? What is the latest on the Sancho, Juventus, Chelsea? Because PSG are now confirmed out of the race. What is the latest on Sterling? Because he will say yes to United. He is open to the move. But do Man United want Sterling? Mejbri done deal. We'll give you a recap. This is Alice Talks Football, and this is your late night 10-minute roundup. Well, I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news that's come out today into a 10-minute video so you're up to date. Some of the stories have come out in the last few hours. We haven't covered it in our live shows, and then some of the stories we'll cover at the end we did speak about in our live shows for those that couldn't tune in or didn't have the time. So it was said here, Jason Wilcox pictured in Manchester airport earlier today waiting to board a flight to Paris. Wilcox boarding a flight to Paris. Well, last time he boarded a flight to France, he went to Lille, and he came back with any euro. So if he's boarding a flight to Paris, and he's not on holiday, and he's busy working in the transfer window, and Blanc is already in Paris, and Ashworth apparently, could be coming to Paris as well. Because, some of the agents at United are going over to Italy to Turin to sort Sancho to Juventus. You've got the Napoli people flying out to sort the McTominay deal. Directors there in England, United final agreement. Wilcox now going to Paris. Going to be a busy few days. We also got Mejbri done deal. We'll talk about that later on. But it's very obvious that this is, Ugarte, here we go. We're literally just waiting for the here we go. Like, we know it's that close. Everything is agreed basically on the player side. He's desperate for the move. PSG are now going to lower the price, apparently. I mean, this is what we covered earlier. United and PSG are discussing the final details on the structure of the deal and composition of the bonuses for Manuel Ugarte. Everything should accelerate once the departure of McTominay is confirmed. Basically, as I said earlier, we knew Wan-Bissaka was going and it was going to be a here we go any day for like 10 days. But obviously he needed his payout for that to be a final here we go, even though basically everything was done between West Ham and Wan-Bissaka. And we couldn't do anything for Mazraoui until Wan-Bissaka was gone. It looks to be the same with McTominay. We know he's going to Napoli. He's agreed to join Napoli. Napoli have agreed to bid with United. He's waiting for his payoff. He goes to Napoli. We get Ugarte. El Pay said that PSG originally wanted 60 million euros for Ugarte and United offered 52 million euros. PSG lowered their asking price after talks at the weekend. The player has put pressure on them. So apparently PSG have lowered their asking price and we're just waiting for McTominay to be sold for that deal to progress. Wilcox is there to wrap it up. It was said that Manchester United went to Napoli for Victor Osimhen last summer, but they asked for 110 million and United walked away, which, considering apparently they might have set like a 60 million bid for him to go to Saudi now, just shows that United would have got mugged off, although we definitely overpay for Højlund. But Osimhen, however you want to say it, I think he is a very good player, but I think he's a little bit overrated, a little bit overpriced. As much as I would have liked to meet United last year, but 110 million, I can see why United walked away, and I can see why Napoli is struggling to sell him. What I've noticed is because of PSR and FFP, all these players that are valued at 100 million, clubs are really struggling to sell this summer. There's not been any big 100 million transfers, and people have got to start to lower the asking fee. That being said, Newcastle might be about to drop 70 million on Mark Gay, which is crazy. I think Mark Gay is really good, but 70 million. 70 million is... What is the latest on Juventus? And I say Juventus, I mean Sancho, but it's a boost for Juventus. PSG will not be selling Sancho this summer. I believe PSG are close to getting Lookman and are working on some other deals. Chelsea and Juventus are still exploring a deal to sign Sancho. Talks have started but not yet advanced. More top clubs also inquired. It's also possible that Sancho could stay at United, was said by Florian Plettenberg. Now, I think United are not ruling out Sancho staying. Do I think United want Sancho to stay? No. They don't want any drama between him and Ten Hag. I don't think United want Sancho to stay. But I think publicly United's stance will be, we're happy for Sancho to stay. We're only going to sell him for the right price to make sure that teams don't take advantage of us in the window and try and get us to loan out Sancho or give them Sancho on a cheap or really good deal on Sancho. I think United are saying we're happy for Sancho to stay. Everything's good with Ten Hag. It's more than possible Sancho can stay if we don't get the right offer. We're happy with that. So it doesn't look like we're desperate. Because if it looks like we're desperate to sell Sancho, Juventus get a loan with a buy option, not even an obligation to buy. If he's crap on loan, we're lumbered with him for another year. It's even more difficult to sell him. We get less because there's 1 year left on the contract and he doesn't have a good year at Juventus. United have made it clear, 40 million or loan with obligation to buy around 40 million, and we'll do a deal for Sancho. Anything less, we're not interested in it. Considering that Juventus are very close to selling Chiesa and really are interested in doing this loan with obligation to buy, that's been confirmed by Romano and other sources, I expect the Sancho situation to move. I also think Chelsea could be getting used to speed up the deal, because I don't think United have any interest in doing a player swap with Chelsea for Sancho, because we know that United want cash for Sancho because of pure FFP and have no interest in doing a swap, hence why he wasn't using the swap deal for Ugarte as well, plus PSG weren't 100% in for him. Romano said the only way Chelsea will sign Sancho is if United take a player from them in return, which apparently United aren't willing to do. It was then said by Romano earlier today that new contract between Sancho's agent and Juventus will take place today to understand if they can reach an agreement on loan with a buy clause and discuss the salary. It's said that Sancho is likely to agree to join Juventus. He's keen on the move. They're now having talks with United about the conditions. Juventus is really interested in this move, especially because Chiesa could be on the way to Liverpool. A private jet is due to take off from Manchester to Turin later today. Formal talks between the two clubs over Sancho. So there's a meeting going on today, which would have been earlier today because it's tonight now, over Sancho and Juventus. So I expect there to be some big news coming out tomorrow on Sancho to Juventus post that meeting and get some clarity tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe with the post notification bell on, and I can keep you updated on that story. But could a Sancho deal involve Raheem Sterling going the other way to Manchester United? Manchester United do hold interest in Sterling, and he's expected to leave the club in the next week. Sterling, 29, is also a little older than the ideal age bracket targeted by Ratcliffe and Ineos. Sterling getting his current contract of 300k per week elsewhere is something that could prove difficult. With the new United ownership keen to change the dynamic and bring down the overall wage budget, it's unlikely they will match his current conditions and he'd be required to take a wage cut. I think with Sancho going, Ineos could potentially be open to the idea of Sterling because Rashford hasn't been great and Antony hasn't been great. And we've got two young wingers and maybe having someone experienced there, but we're trying to revive Rashford and Antony. Do we want to revive Sterling as a third? Unless Sterling halves his wages, signs like a 2-year deal so it's short term, and we get him on the real cheap, I can't see Ineos doing it. Ineos want to move away from higher wage players that are over the age of like 26, that haven't been in the best spell of form, are sort of on the way down. Sterling doesn't tick any of those boxes in terms of what Ineos are looking for. Sterling is a Glazer signing. Sterling, I'm sure, would want United, but is a Glazer signing. I don't think it's an Ineos signing, and I don't believe that Ineos are interested in it, because why would they have any interest in Chilwell? And Sancho for Sterling, I know we want to get rid of Sancho, but let's be honest, Sancho's younger and probably better. Sam Dean said that Raheem Sterling would consider a move to Manchester United, but will not press ahead with a transfer from Chelsea until he's held further discussions about his contractual situation. Raheem Sterling would not rule out a move to United, not at the least because he's a massive supporter of the club as a child, although it remains to be seen if such offer is forthcoming before the transfer window closes. Sterling, grew up as a massive United fan, despite playing for Liverpool and City and Chelsea. I mean, all he needs to do is go for Arsenal, and he's played for our four biggest rivals, actually Leeds. But he's open to United. And of course, Raheem Sterling would say yes to United. Of course, he's open to United. Of course, that's the situation. In other news, it was confirmed earlier today that Hannibal Mejbri completes his medical test at Burnley and he joins on a permanent deal instead of a loan with obligation to buy. We've been told for ages Mejbri was going to leave on a loan with an obligation to buy. It ended up being a permanent deal last minute, which is interesting, but I'm happy. But they haven't disclosed the price yet, but I can assume it's like 3-4 million. And then we probably, get a sell-on clause, buy-on clause, whatever that is. But it's good to see that Mejbri's out, and that although Mejbri will fish Police Street, we didn't get much for them. It's good to see that there is a little bit of a clear-out going on as well. It was also said that Napoli agreed a deal with United for Scott McTominay. The deal was subject to all parties being satisfied by the terms. The transfer fee is €30 million with a percentage of future sales. So David Ornstein confirmed that McTominay has obviously agreed to join Napoli. We've agreed a deal with Napoli for McTominay. It's now the player terms being sorted. Does McTominay want to leave? Will he take the payout, blah, 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 blah. So basically, McTominay, because he's not on crazy wages at United, because he's got 1 year left on this deal and he's helping United out, he'll want a £1-2 million payoff to leave United, a bit like Wan-Bissaka. It might take a few days to negotiate, but I assume that will be done. The only frustrating thing about that situation is it obviously holds up the whole situation with, what was I saying? With Ugarte going the other way. But listen, people, that was your 10-minute Manchester United roundup. Make sure you subscribe with the post notification bell on, because there will be updates coming in on Ugarte. Let me know your thoughts. I think Sancho to Juventus on loan with obligation to buy is one to watch. I think McTominay will go to Napoli. I think we bring in Ugarte. Mejbri's been sold. I don't think any other business happens, but Eriksen could be one to watch. Lindelof could be one to watch. And you never know, Amrabat, another midfielder, a last-minute winger like Sterling, could be one to watch. If we don't spend on top of Ugarte, there could be money there for January, which could mean an exciting January window. But thanks everyone for watching. See you next time. Bye.